Hello, Edith. You got the message you wanted to see me. There's not a problem with Fox's treatment, is there?
Not that I'm aware of. Why?
Oh, father's concern, that's all.
Oh, actually, I wanted to speak to you about our son. Have you heard anything more about him from Valerie?
Actually, no. Not since she gave us the news. He's here in Harmony.
Oh. Okay.
Well, actually, if you stop to think about it, Valerie's done more to find our son in a few short months than we've accomplished since we learned that Chad was my father's son with Liz.
I know. I'm just impatient to find our child, that's all. Aren't you?
Actually, I could wait years to find him.
Julian, how can you say that about our son knowing that he's here in Harmony? Did you say that you could wait years to find our child? Especially after Valerie told you that he had such a difficult time in foster care?
No. You misunderstand me. Of course I want to find her son. It's just that...
What?
Well, it seems lately the only contact you and I seem to have is when we discuss the search for our son. And I can't tell you how much spending time with you means to me.
Julian.
No, I know. I know. You've moved on with your life. You're back with TC, and due in large part to my bad behavior after his stroke.
You were so unkind to me, Julian, and so unfair.
Mea culpa 1,000 times. It's just that any excuse to be with you seems to make my day.
I didn't know that you still felt that way.
I do. I think about us as a couple. Recently and way back when, what could have been, what should have been, the two of us together.
Julian.
Eve, I long for those days. I'd give anything if I could go back, but I know I can't, so being with you like this is hard to do, but I'm still selfish enough to want to make the most of it. Yes, of course I want to find our son. But I can wait because I know that once we find him, we'll never be this close again.
It's not necessarily true.
Why not?
Just because.
Why not, Eve?
Because, to tell you the truth, I find myself looking back at the old times and the love we shared. As a matter of fact, I think about it all the time.
You still think about us in the old days when we first fell in love?
I look back at that time and I wish that we had been able to make it then. Because underneath the mess that we made of everything, we had a wonderful love. And it just breaks my heart to think that we lost it all.
It was all my doing.
No, I was partly to blame. But most of all, it was Alistair who did us in.
My father, the old bigot, somehow made me feel guilty for loving you, and that guilt, and then I started the drinking and the drugs and dragging you down with me.
But at least we can look back at it now with a clear eye. See that Alistair tortured us both, ripped you away from me, and stole our child.
My father could never steal my love for you, not then, not now, not ever.
No. Alistair could never steal that away.
It was left for me to ultimately ruin us. I kicked myself for my stupidity.
No, Julian, don't. Just let it go.
At least something good came out of our relationship. A son. We conceived a son in love. And I just hope that love has followed him his whole life, despite his problems in foster care.
Oh, I hope so, too. Valerie said he's here in Harmony. But where? And what is he doing? What Valerie said about our son in foster care, that there were problems. Oh, God, I hope he overcame them. And that he found love and happiness. As I hate to think of him having his heart broken or experiencing the kind of pain that could turn to hate.
In other words, you hope he was spared what I did to you?
Oh, no, Julian. I hope he's never known the kind of hurt and anger that I caused you when I went back to TC after his stroke. I betrayed our love, and I betrayed you, and I will never forgive myself.
Eve.
I hate to think that our son could experience such hurt that he would act out of an uncontrollable rage.
You regret going back to TC?
I regret how I dealt with TC's stroke. You were right. I should have kept my distance emotionally, but I just felt so guilty.
About what? TC is the one who ended your marriage.
Oh, but I gave him more than enough cause by lying about my past all those years, pretending to be the perfect wife and mother and role model for Whitney and Simone when I was anything but. But the point is that I let my guilt cloud my thinking. And I was so determined that I was going to put what I had broken back together again before moving on with you, that I convinced myself that it was all going to work out somehow, and that I could actually I could have it all.
I wouldn't let that happen.
Oh, and I should have dealt with your feelings so much better.
You shouldn't have had to deal with me at all.
No, that's not true, Julian. Just stop it. You were right to feel angry and upset and hurt. And you saw what I couldn't see. That I was trying to put my family back to the way it used to be, which is impossible. I don't love TC the way I used to. And Whitney's a grown woman with a child of her own. Simone's still grieving over Ray. Oh, then TC senses that I don't love him the way I used to or the way I should. And that's because I still love you.
You have no idea how I wanted to hear those sweet, soft words from you. I never thought I would after the horrible things I said to you.
You were hurt because I hurt you.
Even so.
Dr. Russell, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're needed by a patient.
Thank you, nurse. So can we finish this later?
Yes. I understand, of course. Who knows, maybe next time we meet, we'll have news from Valerie about our son.